You're seeing live visuals there, or just deferred live visuals of Akhilesh Yadav arriving. Let's not kid ourselves. The prospects of the India Alliance stitching together a meeting is not very high in terms of them meeting to actually put together some sort of government. That's not going to happen. What is happening is the NDA meeting is already underway, in which we are expecting the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, now the acting Prime Minister, for a few hours to head across with Chandrababu Naidu, with Nitish Kumar, all across to go to the Rashtrapati Bhavan for the second time in a day. Let's take claim to form the government, and pretty much with the numbers that ended up as of last night to go ahead and get that done. Let me open up this conversation to our colleagues joining us. Gautam Mukherjee is with us. Gautam Mukherjee, now, so what is this meeting for, other than some last stand show of unity? Because Akhilesh Yadav has done really well. He's got something to really lift his head about. Surely Mamata Banerjee has also got something to gloat about as well. But beyond that, beyond the optics, what substantive thing can be achieved in this meeting of the Indie Bloc?
Well, I think maybe they are going to work out a parliamentary strategy. Apart from that, the main thing that will be biting them is that they have come some distance, but it is a bridge too far. They are not going to be able to form a government, and they are unlikely to form a government anytime in the next 5 years. So they're going to have to come to terms with what can they do now with their 230 odd parliamentarians. From the overall national point of view, the fact that so many have been elected in the opposition puts them on the mat a little bit. In the past, they could say that the government's brute majority forced them to misbehave, forced them to use disruptive tactics or gherao the people or do dharnas near the Mahatma Gandhi statue. But now with 233, they are sort of honor bound to be a constructive opposition. I don't think that's what they want to do. So
okay,
they're going to have
of course,
to
the big question, of course, lies in the definition of what is constructive opposition. But the large premise is that in the opposition, is the Indie Bloc going to remain a united opposition front? Are they going to sit down today and come with a formal plan? Is this going to be a formal alliance post-poll? Is this going to be a convener or a president that is going to be declared? Is the leader of the opposition therefore going to be the convener and the president of the Indie Bloc? Will they go their separate ways? Because every logic suggests that they will go their separate ways. And Rajalakshmi Joshi, what do you think? Do they go their separate ways tomorrow?
Good evening, Rishabh. The differences between the different parties in the India Alliance has been there right from the start. They've not had a common minimum program. And again, this thing about the convener and who will head the government, these are all questions that actually are going to take a long time. So, I don't think it is going to be so easy for them to iron out any of this, because they have had all this time, but they have not been able to arrive at any particular decision about any of this. Even during the seat sharing, we have seen how in every state they have had problems. So, it is not going to be an easy task. And that also, these are all people who all have very high ambitions. And if they're able to get Mr. Nitish Kumar and Chandrababu Naidu together on board, then, they're going to have to offer them a big piece of the pie.
Yeah, but again, we are discussing scenarios that are currently non-existent. In politics, they say 1 week is a long time. So what happens next month, the next 6 months later, 1 year later, one doesn't know. But it is very, very highly unlikely. I would say a negligible percentage chance that we are looking at an unstable government for the scope. Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar, I mean, if they had to do something, they would have done it by now. Let me get Piyush Pant into this conversation. Dr. Pant, in a practical sense, and Akhilesh Yadav is not getting power even though he's got 37 Lok Sabha seats. He's going to have to now focus on 1 year later UP Assembly elections to actually change something. Mamata Banerjee is already in power in the state. She's not gaining power at the center. So in practical terms, other than a morale boost, no doubt, what actually happens?
Well, Rishabh, I think a good beginning has been done as far as opposition unity is concerned. And people have given a specific mandate for the health of the democracy and for the survival of the democracy by giving a very, 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 very good support to the opposition party so that even they could not come into the power, but the numbers which they have got, they can act as a good opposition, a healthy opposition, and they can put a stop on the government's, one-sided passing of the bill or one-sided decision, you can say, where we had witnessed in the last 5 years that the government had no respect for the opposition. So now this kind of thing, this government which is in minority on its own, but with the support
I'll give you the complications, right, sir? Because it is obviously complicated to run a coalition government. How complicated is it to run a coalition opposition? Because if you remember things like, for example, the Aam Aadmi Party was hugely upset with this NCT of Delhi bill. They went from party to party to lobby that the opposition unite. Not many did. So how, Piyush ji, will a coalition opposition run which has its own priorities in its own regions?
Of course, Rishabh, you are right. It's far. I mean, it's a greater challenge to remain a united opposition than to remain united in the power. So I do agree with this. But what I want to say is that now they have tasted the fruit of this opposition unity, and the people have handsomely rewarded them for their efforts. So now they should realize the importance of this unity, and they should force the government to get their own mandate, their own agenda, which they want to get it passed for the welfare of the people. And if the government doesn't follow the rules of the day, the rules of the book, so now they can they have the strength in numbers to force the government to go by the rule of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, all that matters to pass a bill is 272. The BJP's position in the Rajya Sabha has improved. It is likely to further improve. Well, the NDA has now picked up 2 more states, so their position in Rajya Sabha is going to further improve. Force the government to actually come to terms to something, I don't know. There are very, very rare instances in constitutional cases where a 2/3 majority is needed. But GVR Shastri, in a practical sense, what is the result for the opposition of this election? The Congress at 99 seats, has it vehemently established itself as the leader and no choice but the Congress when it comes to an Akhilesh or Mamata, who are all considering themselves as tall leaders?
See, Rishabh, the most important aspect is that the government is not in a position to run. Whatever you call it, 240, 250, 260, unless until that comfortable majority of 300 numbers, the government can't run in the way they want. Because for every action, they need to call an NDA meeting. For everything, they have to call and discuss with the NDA meeting. Then things can be forwarded to the cabinet.
Do you really think that Narendra Modi is the same as Manmohan Singh at 202?
No, but what I'm saying...
Modi with 240 is the same as Manmohan Singh as 202. That's what you think?
That is what I'm saying. That's the thing is that it is not the cup of tea of Prime Minister Modi, the way he runs and conducts. Because this nation needs a dynamic leader, and dynamic decisions are needed for the economy and sustaining the economy. And this kind of coalition government is not going to be. We saw that yesterday, that 6,000 points down by the stock exchange, almost 45-50 lakh crore loss was visible.
The market is up 3,500-4,000 points today.
Yeah, that's the reason I'm saying this is not correct, and it is not going to work it out, because
the first thing what it is important is that let's the Prime Minister Modi's swearing ceremony should be completed.
All right. I don't want to spread market spooking canards. The market 2 days ago was up 3,000 points. It fell 5,000 points. The next day is up another 3,000 points. So the market is net positive. Okay.
No, Rishabh,
So let's not press canards that the market Sensex is collapsed, because it's not collapsed.
No, it is not. See, let me. It is,
So why are you taking the example of the markets being down when they're actually higher today than they were 2 days ago?
The dynamics of democracy and the political decision of the democracy and the strategy of the democracy, it is always implies directly and indirectly and proportionately towards stock markets. But it is happening for the as far as the nation of India is concerned, because we have only one stock market, that is Bombay Stock Exchange. Entire country there is no other, only one, that is Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange, NSE and BSE. Please understand, because the kind of dynamics we made it, that is the story we are.
No, but I am understanding. I'm saying you said the markets are down when that's not simply the truth, because the markets are up. Okay, all right. Okay, you've had your say. Let me get Chandni into this conversation. Chandni, the premise is that obviously, if you do not have within your own party 272, you are going to have to make either subconscious or conscious changes in how you progress with your administrative agenda. That's not an unreasonable premise, even though the extent of it can be debated.
True. I mean, see, this is a collective win of NDA. At the end of the day, it is the BJP-led NDA that has formed the government. A win is a win and a loss is loss. There is no middle ground to it, right? We keep saying that, the opposition got the moral victory and all. That is just names that we are cooking up to make them feel good. But the collective win of NDA. So I guess if it's a collective win of NDA, there would be collective responsibilities. Everybody, see, I guess Narendra Modi, as it is the person who even takes the opposition and, walks together.
Okay.
He has said it so many times that, I would, I have gone to the opposition and...
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt, but quick updates coming in. The meeting that has been going on of the NDA allies at Lok Kalyan Marg, you're seeing the visuals there. That is the exit of Amit Shah and Nitish Kumar, who have, I'm being told the meeting has now concluded. We are now expecting PM Modi along with Nitish Kumar and the rest of the allies to head across almost immediately to the Rashtrapati Bhavan. It might happen to actually stake claim, which is going to happen right now. They anyway have to go to the Rashtrapati Bhavan at 8 p.m. For the concluding dinner for the Lok Sabha, which is now no longer in session since a new one has been elected. So keep an eye out, live shots on your screens. If indeed happens, it's going to happen in the next 1 hour, where we're going to see PM, who is now for the last 4 or 5 hours been acting Prime Minister, restake his claim and of course issue a date for swearing in. It might happen as early as a couple of days from now. Just keep an eye out on those screens over there. Chandni, sorry I interrupted you. Finish your thought, then I'll bring in the rest.
It is a collective win for the NDA. It is a collective responsibility for the NDA. All the positions that would be given out, that would be well thought and well put out. See, Narendra Modi is not going to jeopardize anything which would affect the nation in a bad way. So he's a very calculated man. Even Amit Shah is a very calculated man. They are 10 steps ahead of what we are thinking of, what the opposition has thought of.
Okay, so right? No, it does boil down to a realistic picture that this is the lowest single party figure that a Narendra Modi as Prime Minister has had to deal with. That's just facts. This is the first time that Narendra Modi as Prime Minister has to deal with being in a position at the head of a government, whether it be Gujarat or all India, where the party does not have a simple majority. That's just a fact. But does that substantially change where the coalition era of the UPA, ladies and gentlemen, was that if Mamata Banerjee or Nitish Kumar became railway minister, they were running the railway ministry like they intended to run the railway ministry. Okay? They were all fiefdoms in the ministries. And there was some semblance of logic, but not really. Okay? Manmohan Singh was a different Prime Minister because Manmohan Singh was not a vote-winning Prime Minister. He was an administrative Prime Minister. Let's not confuse the issue. Jawaharlal Nehru went out in 1 vote. Indira Gandhi went out in 1 vote. Shastri won them. Well, so did Narasimha, so did Rajiv, so did Narendra Modi. Manmohan Singh is pretty much primarily, you're allowed to say even Deve Gowda had some sort of vote share in Karnataka, but he could not have become Prime Minister had he not received the support of the Congress party. So pretty much Manmohan Singh was the administrator who became Prime Minister and went on for 10 years. Let me get Manohar Kesri, my colleague, into the broadcast for a quick update. Manohar, क्या चल रहा है? क्या हमें कोई खबर मिली है? राष्ट्रपति भवन प्रधानमंत्री जा रहे होंगे?
देखिए, बिल्कुल जो एनडीए की बैठक प्रधानमंत्री आवास पे चल रही थी वो खत्म हो चुकी है और खबर ये है कि 4 लीडर्स चंद्रबाबू नायडू, नीतीश कुमार, प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी और बाकी लीडर्स जो हैं राष्ट्रपति से मिल करके हो सकता है आज ही शपथ पत्र दें, क्योंकि जो एनडीए की बैठक अभी करीब 1 घंटे तक चली है उसमें से तमाम जो घटक दल हैं उन्होंने अपना समर्थन पत्र प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी को सौंप दिया है। लेकिन जो हमारे सोर्सेज बतला रहे हैं, चंद्रबाबू नायडू और नीतीश कुमार की जो बातचीत हुई है, क्योंकि सबसे पहले नीतीश कुमार पहुंचे थे तो प्रधानमंत्री से उनकी जो मुलाकात हुई, प्रधानमंत्री ने उन्हें जिस तरह से गर्मजोशी से उनका स्वागत किया, उसके बाद चंद्रबाबू नायडू का किया। तो चंद्रबाबू नायडू चाहते हैं कि कैबिनेट में उनको 4 बर्थ मिले, मतलब 4 उन्हें कैबिनेट मिनिस्ट्री मिले। उसके बाद नीतीश कुमार की अगर हम बात करें तो नीतीश कुमार चाहते हैं कि उन्हें भी 4 मिनिस्ट्री मिले, 2 एमओएस मिले। चिराग पासवान चाहते हैं कि 1 कैबिनेट और 1 एमओएस मिले। तो ये सारे सोर्सेज बतला रहे हैं कि इस तरह की उनकी डिमांड है। लेकिन प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी इसको लीड कर रहे हैं, जैसा कि आपने भी बताया। तो फॉर्मूला क्या कुछ रहता है, किस तरह से औपचारिक इसका ऐलान हो रहा है, इसका इंतजार करना पड़ेगा। और आज रात में 8 बजे डिनर पार्टी है मोदी 2.0 की आखिरी विदाई के तौर पर राष्ट्रपति से
Okay, so we have a 2.5 hour window. तो 2.5 घंटे, we have a 2.5 hour window, right? So either it happens in the next hour or so, or we are going to see this happen tomorrow. I would suspect the chances of happening immediately is much higher than it being deferred to tomorrow. But who knows? There might be a protocol issue that you're waiting for the dinner to conclude and do it tomorrow. There might be a practical issue. But they're all together. The letters of support have already been collected. Of course, there is going to be a division. But I think a division where the allies demand everything and receive everything, there will be a negotiation, there will be a balance, and this is how politics works. Let me get Abhishek Banerjee into this conversation. Abhishek ji, obviously it's a little bit different, but the question is, how does then that affect the governance immediately, the decision making, the chain of command of government, if any?
देखिए, what I will say is the first thing that one should agree upon, no matter which side they are on, is that the fact that BJP could not get 272 seats, that is a major humiliation for the BJP. Anybody who cannot admit this is not a well-wisher of the BJP, and I am a well-wisher of the BJP. Now, Congress, they are celebrating, they have got 99 seats, but even if they had got 9 seats or 10 seats, they would still be celebrating and thanking their leader. But Congress, that is a different thing. BJP is not an inherited party like Congress. BJP has been built by the hard work and toil of Modi ji, Advani ji, Vajpayee ji, and lakhs of karyakartas and sympathizers who I would emphasize are completely selfless. BJP did not reach 303 seats in 2019 by making excuses like Congress. So the fact that they have gone down to 240 seats, they should sit down very, very carefully now. They have to go to the people, find out where was the disconnect, why did the seats go down, and if they can do this, then only they can realize their dream of Congress Mukt Bharat, which is actually the original idea that Narendra Modi ji, he came up with when he fought the 2014 election. To achieve that dream, they have to go back to the people.
But Dr. Banerjee, Mr. Banerjee, do you really think Congress Mukt Bharat? Because Congress Mukt Bharat, to leave a vacuum for Arvind Kejriwal, Prapt Bharat, or Akhilesh Yadav, Prapt Bharat, or Mamta Banerjee, Prapt Bharat, how does that help the BJP?
No, because, see, it is also about the nation. I mean, the problem in front of the nation, there will always be an opposition. The question is that old Congress thinking, which made India 3 times poorer in 40 years, that thing has to go away. And in order to achieve that, the BJP now has to go back to the grassroots, figure out how did these 60 seats go away? Where was the disconnect? Where was the mistake? Like I said, BJP did not reach 303 seats by making excuses like Congress. If they start making excuses like Congress, one day they will also be at 44 seats. So they have to stop.
Okay, the difference, ladies and gentlemen, the difference between 240 and 272 is UP and Bengal. That's the difference, okay? So you have to figure out where things went wrong in those 2 places. Everything else sort of, you win some, you lose some, you balance some out. You gained in Odisha, you lost a little bit in Rajasthan, Maharashtra. That's part of the political process. But the big chunk surprise swing. Number 1 UP, number 2 Bengal, with a slight disappointment in Maharashtra. Yes, in Rajasthan, Haryana, other places, Delhi, you can lose 1, you can lose 3 or 4. These things happen in politics. But to have a big chunk, 30, 40 taken away, no doubt is something that's going to require a lot of consideration. But the question in the premise is that a government that is being formed, is it administratively, materially different than the existing government? Gautam Mukherjee, brings us back to the premise that are we saying that because Narendra Modi is going to have to run a coalition on which 30 odd seats he is dependent on from other parties, that he materially either changes his agenda or is impaired in his functioning?
I don't think he's impaired in function at all. All he has to do is carry these people with him, make sure their needs are addressed.
Yeah.
It is totally reasonable for Nitish to demand things for the state of Bihar. In fact, there have been long-standing demands. In the past, he was just in the queue along with a lot of people, and ditto for Chandrababu Naidu. But today, they are part of the NDA, the two major arms in addition to the BJP's 240 seats. They will be accommodated, and so will some of the smaller allies who are deserving, and some will be negotiated downwards a little bit. I don't even think he's going to negotiate downwards much for Nitish and Chandrababu. Chandrababu is also a partner with the BJP in his own home state.
Yeah.
Both of the satraps will have to stay in their home states. They'll send a few ministers or nominate a few people to become ministers. I don't see it as a problem.
Okay.
And neither does Narendra Modi, who's made it very clear that he's not going to act like a lame duck. He's going to implement his agenda and take his vision forward.
Yeah, the indication seems to be
innings.
that nothing.
He's not going to let anything slow
I
him
think
down.
I think contrarian to a lot of opinions you just heard, I think Narendra Modi is at his peak and has got nothing to lose now. Okay, so 5 years later he is 78, 79. Okay, so I think the reverse, that he's going to go for broke because there's nothing left to lose. Obviously, subconsciously, practically, pragmatically, constitutionally, it would have been better to get 272, but you don't have it. So now let's boil it down to brass tacks. Piyush ji, in a very real sense, Chandrababu Naidu, we can well imagine that he is waiting for an opportunity to revive Amravati. Just 3 days ago, Hyderabad ceased to be the capital of Andhra Pradesh. That entire project was shelved by Jagan. We saw that farmers whose lands had been acquired but the city could not be built were in trouble. You can well imagine that the centre is now going to lay impetus to these kind of projects, and these priorities are also good enough for Chandrababu Naidu.
Of course, Chandrababu Naidu has been known as a good administrator and good, a developmental man. You know, the cyber city which was developed in Andhra Pradesh, old Andhra Pradesh, now in Telangana, was his creation only, and a very successful project. And he brought all sort of industries, particularly in the field of telecommunications, to Andhra Pradesh. So he is a man who wants to govern, and he will certainly raise these demands with the Modi government. Even there is a buzz that he is asking for the Ministry of Road and Transport. So there will be so many demands. Even Nitish will demand a special status to Bihar, which Narendra Modi, despite making promises, has not been fulfilling it. And despite that, surprisingly, Nitish has been coming back to the Modi wagon. Wagon. So I don't know why, but because it pays politically, which we have seen, which we have witnessed. This time also we witnessed it, that it has paid to Nitish Babu to be with in company of Narendra Modi.
Yeah,
so
it has paid, and it has mutually benefited both Chandrababu and Narendra Modi as well. They've got the government in Odisha that the BJP did on its own. Okay, they've got a thumping. I mean, God, what is out of 175? Jagan has been left with 10. So between Pawan Kalyan, BJP, which has between the two of them, they have about 30, and Chandrababu Naidu sitting on 130, 165 seats out of 175. That's not a majority, that's not 2/3, that's nearly cent percent. So now you're looking at two more governments. The TDP is going to get more Rajya Sabha MPs, the BJP is going to get more Rajya Sabha MPs, Pawan Kalyan is going to have one or two in the Rajya Sabha as well. You are seeing a structural change that's going to happen, and you can reasonably expect that a lot of the one or two MP parties, even the one or two MPs of the people who've lost, will probably see opportunity in the ranks of government rather than sitting it out neither here nor there for the next 5 years. Let's see how that plays out. Let me get Chandni back in. Chandni, in a practical sense, there was a coalition government that was formed that stably ran for 5 years, in which the coalition partners hated each other. Okay, I'm talking about left and Mamta at the peak of the war between the left and Mamta. I'm talking about left trying to get Somnath to resign as speaker so that his one vote could be cast to bring down Manmohan Singh's government of the nuclear deal. These guys hated each other, and yet the government survived. It delivered okay economic growth. Manmohan Singh got his way on a few things, and it worked out fine. Why are we assuming that Narendra Modi's life is going to be far more difficult than Manmohan Singh's?
I'm not at all assuming that. See, Narendra Modi is used to working in coalition government. He's a very seasoned player in this in the field of politics. I mean, when he was in Haryana organization, he has experience of working with Bansilal government and Bhajanlal government. In Jammu and Kashmir, he has worked in coalition with Abdullahs and Muftis. In Gujarat, he has worked with Chimanbhai Patel. 2014 was an NDA government. 2019 was an NDA government, and NDA alliances have had their MPs in as ministry for ministries in both 2014 and 19. It would be the same in 2024 also. There was Anand Geete who was given heavy industries. There was Upendra Kushwaha who was given a ministry. There was Arvind Sawant who was given a ministry. There was Ramdas Athavale who was given a ministry. So it is not like BJP is someone who would only take the alliance or for the sake of the vote and then not divide the responsibilities equally. Narendra Modi and Amit Shah know who is going to bring what to the table, and they would distribute the responsibility as it would help the country. Yes, there are the alliance of Nitish Kumar and Chandrababu Naidu is important for the BJP given the kind of numbers and the seats that we've got.
Yes.
But that is not a painful thing, right? I mean, they have retained Nitish Kumar for like so many days, and
Okay.
that means they have retained Nitish Kumar.
Okay, well, in a real sense, Mr. Banerjee, if you look at unholy alliances, okay, like the BJP PDP, for example, or the Shiv Sena NCP Congress is another example. The people who logically should not get along, Aam Aadmi Party Congress, should not get along. It is the Congress that has not done any favors to the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab, and in Delhi the Aam Aadmi Party has got nothing. Arvind Kejriwal has not benefited from this alliance the way the others might have. So all of these guys have done it. Is it viscerally difficult? Is Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar far more difficult than a Mehbooba Mufti, for example?
I mean, from an administrative point of view, I foresee very few difficulties, because the most important thing is that in the last 10 years, the economic situation has been improved, the bank NPAs have been cleaned up, and the whole world now agrees that India is in a good growth spot. The most important thing that was there in this election was that Modi ji should not have the same fate which befell Vajpayee ji, because they got the economy running, it was at 8%, and they handed it over to UPA, and then the best years, the credit actually went to Dr. Manmohan Singh instead of Atalji, who did all the hard work. That thing, handing it over on a platter, this is something that did not happen in 2024. So all the hard work that they have done, they have brought India's economy to a good patch. It's a purple patch or something they say. And now in the next 3 or 4 years, we will see spectacular growth in India. And the big achievement is that Modi ji is going to prevent somebody else from taking the credit. He is going to get the credit which he has worked for in last 10 years. He deserves that credit.
Okay.
And he will make India the third largest economy, exactly like he promised. And I'm pretty sure in 2029, it will be done by 2027.
Yeah, third largest economy, no, is an inevitability, yes. And within 2 years, it is possible. Pending any shocks and surprises, they can still happen, but within 2 years is possible. Remember, economies in Germany have been in a flat or declining trend while India is growing currently now at 8.4%. We want to be growing at closer to 10%, in fact north of 10%, for us to be able to deliver the jobs and all that we need for the next decade or so. So it's a crucial time. Let's not kid ourselves. It's a fascinating time. Anand, my colleague, meanwhile is standing by at the residence of Mallikarjun Kharge, where, remember, all the others have also been meeting. The question is, why? What are they discussing? What's that meeting for? Because that's not to form the government. Anand, what's the conversation? What's the buzz that you're getting?
Yeah, even as several of the leaders of the India bloc are arriving here at the residence of Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge, who all are the partners of the India bloc that was formed in June last year after efforts were made by Bihar Chief Minister and JDU leader Nitish Kumar, who is now no more part of the India bloc and is now with the NDA bloc. So the leaders coming over here will be discussing what future course of action they need to take to form, whether they need to form the government or they need to sit in the opposition, as the India bloc has got only 234 seats in the just concluded
Anand, we know the figures. We know the figures, but what are they planning after? Do we have any information? They've met, very good, but are they going to formalize the alliance? Will we see a convener being elected with a common minimum agenda in parliament?
Yeah, the India bloc leaders which will be meeting over here, they will be discussing the common minimum program, that what they need to bring out in view of if they decide to form the government, as they have fallen short by around 30 seats of the majority. So they will be discussing that what else they need to do. If they decide to form the government, then which allies of the NDA they need to get in touch with. And
Anand, who is trying to convince you right now that the India bloc is still trying to form a government? Nitish Kumar and Naidu are sitting with the Prime Minister pretty much as we speak. How are they still convinced that they're forming the government?
Yes, sir. Yeah, there are several leaders who have suggested that as some dissent will grow in NDA, then some of the NDA ally partner, they might be coming to India bloc. So they are not...
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you. Tejasvi Yadav speaking. Let's listen.
बिहार सरकार ने जब महागठबंधन की सरकार 17 महीने थी बिहार में, तो हम लोगों ने जाति आधारित गणना करा के उसके बाद 75% आरक्षण की सीमा को बढ़ाया था। फिर हम भी लोगों का कैबिनेट प्रपोजल एक गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया में भेजा गया था कि इस 75% के आरक्षण को शेड्यूल 9 में डाला जाए। तो हम तो चाहेंगे कि उसको जो सरकार आए वो शेड्यूल 9 में उस आरक्षण को डाले, और हम चाहेंगे कि देश भर में जाति आधारित गणना जो है वो कराई जाए।
आप दो चीज़ को लेकर नीतीश कुमार के साथ हैं, एक जातीय जनगणना और साथ में बिहार को स्पेशल पैकेज दिया। क्या आपको लगता है कि नीतीश कुमार जब सरकार में शामिल होंगे तो इस बात को रखेंगे?
देखिए, हम लोगों की पुरानी मांग रही है जिसका समर्थन नीतीश कुमार जी ने भी किया है, और एक अच्छा मौका है उनको किंग मेकर के रूप में अगर हैं तो कम से कम इतना तो होना चाहिए कि बिहार को विशेष राज्य का दर्जा दिलवाएँ और पूरे देश में जाति जनगणना करवाएँ, और जो बिहार का आरक्षण बढ़ाया गया 75% उसको शेड्यूल 9 में डाल दें। एक गोल्डन अपॉर्चुनिटी है, और इस बार देखा गया पहली बार नरेंद्र मोदी जी ख़त्म हो चुके हैं, उनका मैजिक ख़त्म हो चुका है, वो बहुमत से काफ़ी दूर हैं। अब उनको जो है बिना उनके दो बड़े जो सहयोगी हैं, बिना उनके अब सरकार...
Okay, lost at an interesting point, but there's nothing in what Tejasvi Yadav has just said, and Tejasvi Yadav is in a very awkward position, because at a time where everybody in the opposition has done better, all of them except him. He's only got 5 seats. He was supposed to have demolished Nitish Kumar by now, but it hasn't happened. Nitish Kumar, remember, was dealing with incumbency, he was dealing with Palturam jokes, he was dealing with all of that. So Akhilesh Yadav rocked it in Uttar Pradesh. I mean, nailed it. He's got pretty much exactly the same number of seats that the BJP has got. Visuals on your screens, these are, I'm assuming, deferred live visuals of just a short while ago of the meeting that has just taken place in Lok Kalyan Marg. You can see Chandrababu Naidu, Nitish Kumar sitting to the left of the Prime Minister, JP Nadda is there, Jain Chaudhary is there. I can see a lot of the other, well, Rajnath Singh, Amit Shah, pretty much all the senior leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party and senior leaders of the NDA alliance. The Eknath Shinde has also been accommodated there. Everybody seems to be smiling and laughing. So this looks pretty sorted. But there are still people out there who are trying to convince whoever will listen, including our correspondents, that they are trying to form a government. Gautam Mukherjee, I mean, who is still trying to convince journalists out there who will buy the story that they are still attempting to form a government?
You know, these people have been adept at repeating whatever fantasy they feel like ad nauseum to themselves, and you know, so far in the campaign to the public, and they have proved very successful, considering there was absolutely nothing in it. They said, I will give this, I will give that. When I come to power, they're not coming to power. It doesn't matter what they say.
No, in fact, he didn't say it. In fact, he didn't say it. He said now that Nitish Kumar is in a kingmaker position, why doesn't he get the special package for Bihar? That was not Tejasvi Yadav indicating that he's spoken to Nitish Kumar in the flight. They had a quick tea together as they were sitting next to each other, and he within a few seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, if you understand the politics of Bihar, you know that Nitish and Lalu, who've been opponents, still can sort of get along. It is Nitish who has a problem primarily with Tejasvi. That's where the problem lies, not with Lalu. Lalu he can still stomach. So let's not kid ourselves that some grand conversation happened in that flight. We also have to have basic knowledge of politics. The basic knowledge of politics is telling you that whoever is trying to convince people out there, including journalists, passerbys, maybe you the public, that an attempt at government formation is being done from the opposite side. No such attempt is being done. A meeting is happening, and what you need to watch out for is whether there is a united opposition, whether the India alliance, which was a poll fighting alliance without a common minimum program, comes out as a coalition of the opposition or not, whether they elect a convener, have a common minimum agenda, whether they have a say in who becomes leader of the opposition from the Congress, whether Rahul Gandhi himself becomes leader of the opposition from the Congress. These are important points. Akhilesh Yadav now has to go back to UP and use the wave that he's gotten to convert assembly seats. That's where the next game is. Mamata Banerjee is already in power. She's got to make sure that she stays in power. Government at center is going to be now 5 years away. For Aam Aadmi Party and Congress, they are back at loggerheads. That's the truth. This is what happened, and that's what's going to happen. That's what the politics represents. Let me just to put perspective into this. Can we have our reporters back? Is Anand still with us? Okay. Anand, what are we expecting at the culmination of this meeting? Please don't try to convince me that they're forming the government until Chandrababu Naidu shows up at Kharge's residence.
Yeah, as you can see just behind me, there are several of the leaders of the India bloc that have arrived at the residence of Kharge. However, it is yet to be seen what they discuss in the meeting, as since yesterday they were giving several feelers for Chandrababu Naidu as well as for Nitish Kumar. So there are speculations rife that they will be trying to convince several of the India bloc partners, which now looks very not possible as of now, because Nitish Kumar and N. Chandrababu Naidu both were sitting adjacent to Prime Minister, and whereas Chandrababu Naidu has also said that he will be supporting NDA. So now they will be discussing their future strategy, what they need to do and how they need to take the India bloc all together in a opposition. So these are the things that these leaders will be discussing, and they will be also discussing that who will be the leader of the India bloc and how they need to go ahead in parliament, and what are the issues that they will be raising in parliament once the new government is formed. Back to you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.